Welcome back to part 7, and in part 7 of this tutorial we're going to be measuring the hip, measuring the waist to make sure that they are all a-okay. So in this presentation I'm going to be showing you what all of my seams look like once I've stitched them one by one. This first stitch I showed you in a video tutorial how to do it from the bottom here all the way up 8 inches all the way up to the top. So all that you do is you make sure that these two look like those two, that look like those two, that look like those two, all the way down. I've got 7 seams, and all I'm doing now is I'm looking with my naked eye whether these seams are all identical, and I think I've done a pretty good job. What do you think? So we go from here, we taper all the way to the center at the black line, and then just green. Over here, taper to that black line, and then just green. So this hip here, identical, sorry, the waist, and this hip identical down at the bottom. And that's what I've just done. Perfect. So what I'm going to do now is, once I've done this, I now see at the hip over there, I'm looking for 20 inches. So there to there, 20 inches. Perfect. I'm happy with that. Now at the waist, there's my line that I've just drawn in part 6, where I've put my strap and a slight bar tack, which we'll finish in a presentation to follow. I need to measure the hip from there to there, and this has to now measure, because I've tapered from there up, I've tapered it, this has to now measure 17. So I've gone from a 20-inch waist to a 20-inch hip to a 17-inch waist. And have I done that? Let's have a look. There it is there in the center, moving all the way along and finishing there at 17. There it is, starting at 1, 0, 17. So I'm very happy with that. So as a 4-yard kilt builder, I'm very happy with that. The fact that the hip tapers nice, the waist tapers nicely to that hip. I'm looking for that. So I went from a 20-inch and I tapered to a 17-inch. And when I'm at 21 inches, nice parallel lines all the way up. If you were stitching a woman's 4-yard kilt, then from the waist to the hip, it would be tapering all the way in. If it's a man's, taper till the waist and then parallel all the way up. So I'm very happy with that. Now, what happens if you are a couple of slightly out? Well, don't worry too much about that. Just as long as you kind of close to your mark, because what you fell short with, or what you fall short with in your waist or your back measurement, now you have to make up in your inner apron and your outer apron. But for me, I would prefer to have a bigger outer apron than a bigger back. So for me as a kilt builder, I'm very happy with this. So what happens with what's next in our next presentation is we are now going to be measuring our inner apron and getting that pinned up and stitched up. I'll see you then.